Okay, welcome back to Make Something Happen number 38. Gracious. And this is all about handling posts, because in the previous section in the book, we've talked about how we can send a message, send data from a web page into an application by using an HTTP post command. Now, you do this all the time. Whenever you fill in a form online and hit the submit button, then there's pretty much always a post command at the back of that, which sends the contents of what you've typed in back to the server. We're going to do this in Tiny Survey. When the user enters the topic for the survey, we get that from a form in the index page, and the user types it in, hits submit, and now we're going to watch what happens inside the server when that submit appears. To do this, we don't open the examples folder that we downloaded ages ago. We open a specific example for Tiny Survey that we've brought down in the previous Make Something Happen, where we went into GitHub using a command line and a URL, and we went and got the actual files. So rather than opening the examples, I'm going to open the Tiny Survey I fetched down using Git, and I can do that by going File, and I'll have a look in my recents, and there it is. It's Tiny Survey in my example Tiny Survey folder, and I fetched it last time. Go back and look at number 37 if you want to see how that happened. For now, I'm going to go grab it. Here it is. And this is the survey, tinysurvey.mjs. This is the actual application. This is the program which is hosting the web pages for the site. It's also going to perform the business logic, if you want to call it that, for the actual survey. And what I want to do is watch how it works, and to watch it work, I'm going to put in some breakpoints. Now, we've used breakpoints for debugging programs when things have gone wrong, but we've also used them to find out how programs work. So in that situation, I can now actually drift in and I can find line 20, which is one I want to place, and I'll put a breakpoint here. I'll also put a breakpoint at line 25 because that's the other one I wanted. And the first breakpoint will be hit when the web browser requests a file called index.html. Then the response will be to render the index.ejs file, which contains, let's have a look at what it contains. It's here, we can have a look. It's basically the index page. It contains the enter the topic of your survey and click open to open it, and here is the form that has an input type of text, which is the actual topic, and then we have a button called submit that submits that. So these are all the fundamentals that underpin what we're going to do, and this is actually going to mean we'll hit a breakpoint there. And the other one which I put a breakpoint on is line 25, which is when we get the post back from the browser, then this will be the code that deals with that and actually sorts the survey out. So we're going to step through the code and watch what it does. So the first thing we do then now is we start up our browser. If it isn't already, it is running actually, that's quite good. So I can go into here. It's from a previous run, that's fine. I'm going to go back to index. I'm going to hit reload and watch what happens. This will now send a request to the server on port 8080, which is our Tiny Survey server. That's hard to say when you've had cheese. And so now if I hit that, it says, can't reach that page. Do you know why? Because it's not running. Aha! I need to get it. I love it when you can go. I have to start the program running. Run and debug, please. Node.js, please. So now I've got my server actually running, and in a second or two, we'll see if I open the debug console. We'll see the program will come up and it will say, hello. It's now actually going. Output. Here we go. Yeah, it says, there we go. Server. So our server is now running, hurrah. And so we'll get a different error, or, well, we'll watch what happens. If I now do a reload again, then it just sits there, because in our program, we've hit the breakpoint in the fetch for index. So if I hit go by using this button here, whoosh, then if I now go back to my browser, it's all worked. We're where we want to be. We've actually got to the situation where the page has been rendered, the browser has got it back and done its thing and put the thing up. So now I can enter Rob's Pizza, which I think pretty much types itself these days. Yes, here it is. And I can hit open. Now what's going to happen when I hit open, remember, is that there'll be a post action performed by the code in the browser, which will then send a message to the server saying, this is the contents of the form. And it just contains, in this particular case, one element. So I hit open, everything stops. but this thing is flashing and I'm pointing at it with my finger, which helps not a bit in terms of you folks watching the video. But anywho, let's just keep going. If I go into here, I've hit the breakpoint that we thought. Now, what happens is that I've got a post to the got topic address, and on the end of that body is actually the topic information which is put there in the post. So because I've got this piece of middleware which decodes these things for me, which is running up here, then I can actually see in body.topic is, here we go, it should be contained. If I just step along a bit, survey topic will contain Rob's Pizza, because that's what was typed into the form. So what I can do is, and there's a mapping here between the name of the element in the form and the name of the element in the body. If I go back and I reopen this file and take a look inside index.ejs, we'll find that in my form I have an input type, text, and name of topic. That's important because that's mapped directly onto here, so that topic there and topic there are the same thing. So if I wanted to have lots of inputs in here, say I want, and we'll do this when we start getting in the survey options in another example, I would actually just have to put more input types in here, and then each of them would have a topic, a name, which could then be picked up by code running in the server. So what's going to happen now is that the way the system works, when you give it a topic, it says, okay, is this an existing survey, in which case I want to get your response, or is it a brand new survey, which we don't presently have on our books. Now, I'm running this program from scratch, empty. So if I perform this statement here, let's just step in and see what it does. We go into the survey store. Now this is, remember that we did the survey store in the previous chapter when we made a class called surveys that can fetch things for us. It's going to use the find function on the array to actually get hold of a survey with that topic. If it doesn't find one, it'll return undefined. Let's keep on going. Let's step through, see what it does. So survey has come back undefined because there is no survey called Rob's Pizza. We're starting brand new. Our survey store is completely empty, and so at the moment there's nothing in there. So it will now go ahead and perform this path where it will render the enter options page. So if I now click go, whoosh, then we should find that if we go back to the browser, there's my enter options page for the tiny survey. So what you've done really is you've actually watched it go through and do its thing. And this is actually showing us that we're binding together behaviors on the web page and behaviors in the code. We've now got a way, in fact, we now know how applications running in the browser can send structured lumps of data back into the server. This is using the form mechanism, and we have this mapping between fields in the HTML, which are elements in the form, and properties of the request that we get from the when the post is handled inside the server. And so you're starting to see how things fit together, and this is pretty much how lots of things work, and you're getting the fundamentals of how we pass data between application in terms of the browser showing you a screen and the server picking up stuff you've typed into that screen. So I'm kind of happy. And so I've got it to work where I want it to, and I've shown you the stepping through. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the end of this Make Something Happen. In the next Make Something Happen, we'll be taking a look at how the enter options page works, and that'll actually, we're going to kind of work our way through all these various pages until we understand how to round trip, how to build a complete application in terms of how the input gets in and how the output gets back to the browser. And once you know that, you can pretty much make anything, which I think is wonderful. So see you in the next one. Bye-bye.